Once a year, contractors from across the nation come together, not just to learn, but to connect, to share stories and fuel growth. You are here, ready to rise. You are restless, hungry. You never stop improving. At JobTread Connect, that drive takes shape. Energy becomes action. You will unlock new strategies and spark ideas, because success is not about doing more, it's about doing it smarter. Choosing the right tools, using them with purpose. It's about turning technology into time, clarity, and control. This is the new standard. It's how the best keep getting better. It's about you, your business, your future. When you level up, the industry rises with you. Welcome to JobTread Connect 2026, where contractors are redefining what's possible.
Today, we're not going to just talk about constructing businesses. We're going to talk about constructing dreams and legacies.
He was named to Inc. magazine's 30 Under 30 World's Coolest Entrepreneurs. He was also named to Impact 100 list Best Young Entrepreneurs at the White House and the United Nations.
The man, the myth, the legend of JobTread.
Eric Fortenberry.
Eric Fortenberry.
It's Eric Fortenberry. Eric Fortenberry.
Life is too short to not love what you do, to not work with the people that you care about, and to focus on making an impact on the world around you. Most people would quit. Most people would throw in the towel and give up. And that's why most businesses fail. Being an entrepreneur is not easy.
You can hit your goals. You can build a successful business. This is not rocket science. You owe it to yourself to build a successful and profitable business.
We will be the global standard for construction management. We will change the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to JobTread Connect 2026. Let's get this thing kicked off by helping me welcome to the stage founder and CEO of JobTread, Eric Fortenberry.
Good morning, everyone. How are you? Welcome to JobTread Connect 2026. You guys excited to be here? Man, this is awesome. This is just so awesome. It is so great to be in person with all of you. We appreciate you traveling from all over the world to be here with us today. I think we've got some people from as far as Australia and New Zealand in the audience. That is true dedication. This event is something that we look forward to all year long. It reminds us why we do what we do. It's also one of my favorite times of year. Not just because of what we're building professionally, but because of what this community represents, all of you. And for me personally, to have my family, my wife Deja, my daughter Grayson, and son Carter to be here, supporting me. Thank you for enabling me to work as hard as I do. I love you all. We have nearly 1,400 people in the audience today. The people in this room represent every major industry in construction. We have home builders, developers, remodelers, pool builders, deck builders, roofers. We've got commercial builders. We've got specialty trades. We have so many people here with us today. And even though you come from all different parts of this industry, there's one thing that unites us. You're here to level up your businesses. But you're also part of something bigger. Together, we are shaping the future of construction. Let that sink in. This room is influencing how an entire industry operates. We're honored to have you all here with us. You are the visionaries. You are the team members in the community that are helping to set the new standard for construction. The construction industry is changing, and it is changing faster than ever before. Your customers are more informed. They're researching you before they ever call. They're comparing you to others online. They're reading your reviews. They expect more from you. They expect you to be organized. They expect you to communicate clearly. They expect responsiveness, professionalism. And most importantly, they're deciding whether they trust you or not. And the truth is, the good enough contractors are disappearing. For decades, scale was the advantage. Bigger companies, they had better systems, more resources, more reporting, better margins. But that is no longer the case. Technology is leveling the playing field, which is true, but it's not the whole story. It needs to be great technology that meets the needs of the industry. And it also needs to be affordable and accessible by everyone. And that's why at JobTread, we're keeping our prices flat again for the 4th year in a row. We want to be the catalyst that drives forward this market and that empowers all contractors to compete and win. We're going to talk more about that. But first, I want to share a little bit with you about how we got here. In 2015, I built and sold my first software company. I sold it to a private equity firm. And then I got fired. 1 year and 1 day after we sold, I was ousted from my own company. I had spent nearly a decade of my life building that business. And for those of you who know me, that's why I refuse to talk to private equity, and I will not take their meetings. I have seen firsthand what can happen. And too often, the customers, the team, the product, and the soul get sucked right out the window in the name of maximizing shareholder profits, and I am not okay with that. But that's a story for another day. So what did I do after that? Well, I spent a lot of time working on my house. I fully automated it. The door locks, the light bulbs. I built drones, built robots. Built this solar-powered pool refill system because I couldn't find the leak. Got into plumbing. We did concrete, repaired all the foundation around the home. I actually even cut my water main and spliced in a water meter reader and automated shutoff valve. But I think it was once I got into electrical, that was when Deja said, "Eric, I genuinely believe you're about to burn the house down. You need a job." So I started helping my landscaper. She was great at her trade, very professional, very high quality. But it wasn't enough to build a successful business. And I realized this when she wasn't invoicing me. I said, "Hey, I'm happy to pay. Just send me the invoice. It's no big deal." She said, "Wait, you're not getting invoiced?" "No." It's like, "All right, well, let's go to the office, see what you got going on." And what I found was her entire business was paper-based. Not even spreadsheets, all paper, binders and stacks of these spiral notepads just everywhere. And so as I got to learn more about her business and her operations, or lack thereof, I knew that she needed something to help her. I knew she needed some software. So I implemented Jobber for her. And I saw firsthand the impact of having systems and processes in place for her business. I saw the impact that made. Now, I also had a lot of frustrations with that system. Ended up taking it all the way to the CEO. You know what he told me? He told me to deal with it. This is what dealing with it looks like, folks. Shortly after that, a buddy of mine called me. He had a construction company. And they were much farther along, about 5 years in, doing $5 million in revenue. Had 10 employees. But they were struggling to scale their business as well. They were hitting this glass ceiling. They also needed better systems in place. Lots and lots of paper. It was like deja vu when I walked in that door that first day. Literally, timesheets walking in the door, binders, folders, putting them on the wall, waiting for the project manager to come approve them. It was just, again, like I saw how businesses can break down without having good systems. So naturally, I was like, all right, well, let's just go find you some software. Went and I looked at everything out there. This is back in 2018. I made this big spreadsheet, all the features, the pros, the cons, the cost, how hard or easy it was going to be to customize. And at the end of the day, I struggled to make a recommendation for them. I felt like everything that was out there was either super antiquated, had been started 10, 15, 20 years ago, looked really clunky, it was going to be hard to customize, or it's going to be super expensive. I just struggled, couldn't put my finger on which one we should do. And the owner said, well, you're a software guy, can't you just build us something? As if it was that easy, right? I said, no, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't want to create another one-off. You guys also aren't qualified to maintain it, and I'm not really looking for a full-time job here, just coming to help out. But as I talked more about it with my wife, who again really wanted me out of the house, she reminded me that, Eric, this is another huge industry that's lagging in technology. This could be your next opportunity and what you're looking for. So I went back to him and said, look, I'm willing to do it under 3 conditions. 1, I take over as CEO. 2, I give you 1 year of my time. And 3, everything I build is my intellectual property. So if this has the potential to become my next software company, I can go do that after that 1 year. He said, great. Made me partner, CEO, took over the business. We started at the very beginning. We started looking at estimating. I wanted to understand, why could they not hit their target profit margin? Sort of suspected they were pulling numbers out of thin air, which was a good deal of that happening. But I also realized they didn't understand the difference between markup and margin. A few of them did. The owner did. He understood that he was using margin. We were targeting a 30% margin. But everyone else was just marking up their cost by 30%. And as I hope all of you know, that will only get you a 23% profit margin. They were literally shooting themselves in the foot right out of the gate. We also weren't able to use change orders because nobody could really figure out what we actually sold. Nothing was documented. A bunch of back-of-the-envelope, handshake type deals, text messages saying, yeah, we're good, we'll do it. We didn't have a detailed scope of work. And that makes it very, very hard to scale a business. So that's where JobTread was born. It was the budget. The budget was the foundation of all of this. We needed those estimators to put away their calculators, quit coming up with things, and I wanted a detailed list of every single cost that was going to go into this job. Your labor, materials, equipment, permits, anything and everything that they thought was going to go into this job, we needed that documented, and we needed a clearly defined scope of work of what was included, and even more importantly, what was excluded. This is huge for us. This transformed how we were able to price our jobs. We could now do it accurately. We now had a much better handoff to project managers. Now, when I turned to the operations side, the project management side, that was a whole other thing. Even if we sold the job correctly, we still struggled to actually execute it and to hit that target profit margin. We struggled to complete those jobs on time. So I started doing ride-along, shadowing the project managers, started showing up at the job sites, trying to understand what was happening. And this is when I realized that we were not aligned with how we sold the job and how we managed it. We were selling a fixed-price job, but we were operating it with a variable cost because we were paying our guys time and material. We were paying them an hourly rate and or a day rate, depending on the job. So, of course, they were incentivized to drag it out. A whole lot easier to go hang out at Home Depot than to actually get the job done the first time. And when I turned to the back office, maybe I should have started there. We had over $800,000 of accounts receivable. Can you imagine nearly earning $1 million and not collecting it? You know, we were literally collateralizing that AR and taking out $200,000 lines of credit, one after another, to pay payroll. Don't do that. Collect your hard-earned money. When we look at the billing side, accounts payable, it was like death by 1,000 cuts. We were being double billed, overbilled. We had bills on the wrong jobs. We lacked controls. We were just trying to survive as we scaled. And that's when the wheels started to come off. At the end of the day, we grew this business from $5 million in sales to $8 million in that 1 year. And we increased our gross profit by 43%. Can you imagine? What would you do with an extra 43% more profits? It turns out, though, when you focus on implementing the right systems, the right processes, you've got the right KPIs, you can achieve your goals. It was after that 1 year, seeing the results, I knew that it was time to go start JobTread. And I confidently was able to leave that company in a much better place than when I found them. And I'm very proud to share that in 2023, they broke $20 million in sales for the first time. That's simply incredible. Less than 10 years in. And it goes to show you can build an extremely profitable and successful business when you set your mind to it and you make the right moves and do the right things. For me, though, I saw a huge opportunity to help so many more people who were in the exact same situation that they were in. And from that day forth, my mission was clear. I decided that I wanted to help as many construction companies as I possibly could to grow and scale their businesses. I decided to seize the opportunity to create the new standard for construction management. So in 2019, JobTread was born. And after a few years of building, we started selling it in 2021. If you're one of our first 200 companies, I would love for you to stand up in here. Thank you for believing in us. Thank you so much. I'm still trying to figure out how Riley convinced you to join us and what exactly he sold you, but I hope we have now been able to fulfill those promises there. And every single year, we have over doubled our customer base. This is unprecedented growth. And today we are sitting at 9,261 customers. But who's counting? Well, Deloitte's counting. And this past year, they ranked us the number 6 fastest growing technology company in all of North America. I think this is one of the most impressive awards that we have won. That makes us the fastest growing construction technology company in North America. And it is largely thanks to you all. For all of your referrals, for all of those 5-star reviews, for continuing to spread the good word. We would not be here without you. This has almost entirely been organic growth. Until this last year, we didn't even run ads. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for believing in us and for sharing with the world what we are doing here. But I think the best part about this is seeing the impact that it has made on each and every one of your businesses. This last year, we passed over 1 million users on JobTread. This is huge. So many people have been impacted by what we are doing here. You all have sold and managed over $22 billion of jobs. That is incredible. Over 1.5 million jobs have been run through the system. So give yourselves a round of applause for your continued success. This is no small feat. This is a movement. We are doing this together. Together, we are setting the standard for construction. But what does that really mean? We believe there are 3 major pillars that we see making the biggest impact on your growth and your success: clarity, systems, and trust. Let's start with clarity. You need to have a clear and easy to understand mission and vision for your company. Who are you? What do you do? Where are you going? Clarity is about knowing who you are as a business. What are your ideal customers? What are your ideal jobs? Having this clarity will help you to attract the right clients and the right team members. One of the best pieces of advice that I got from my dad was that you can't boil the ocean. And that means that you need to focus on doing what you are great at. You cannot be everything to everyone. It's not possible to be great at everything. Clarity is also about knowing your numbers. Not guessing, not hoping, knowing. You got to set goals, track your progress, understand how are you performing, course correct before it's too late. Clarity can improve your decision making and your ability to scale. I want to highlight a few of our customers here. Chad Hamlin, the Hamlin Group. I remember just two connects ago, he told me his biggest takeaway was that he needed to more clearly define who they were as a business. And he spent a good part of that next year working with his team to craft their mission, their vision, their core values. And now they proudly display those at their office for everyone to see when they come in, so they know who they are. And one of the neatest things that I've ever seen was that Chad and their team, they include their mission and their core values on every single one of their customer and vendor orders. This sets the tone for every agreement that they enter into. And it reminds everyone who they're working with what they're all about. I love this. Great job, Chad. Babak Kraftar from Condo Works and Forte Projects. I love what they do. They have taken all of their core values and create huge poster boards that they put up at the very entrance of every single job site that they step foot on. And this, again, it reminds their team what their values are every single time they step foot on that job site. The customers also really love it too. Babak has got an incredible recruiting process as well. On his website, he has taken his vision, mission, core values, and they put that out there for everyone, for all their applicants, their employees, their customers, their trade partners. And they've developed a very intentional process to make sure that they are hiring the right people who are aligned with their core values. I encourage all of you to do this. It is so important when you want to build the right team. And I also want to share Eric Anderson's story, which is today's Builder Stories podcast. He shared with me at the age of 20, he built his first spec home. And then in the 2007 downturn, he transitioned to remodeling. But he said, I realized I didn't have a business. They weren't making any money. He ended up having an unfortunate accident, which took him off the tools. And it forced him to spend time rethinking his business. And he realized that they weren't specializing on anything. They decided at that point that they wanted to transition to be way more intentional, way more focused, to just do kitchen and baths. Along that same time frame, he also read Michael Gerber's E-Myth book about systems and how important they are. And that's when he went and he ended up finding Dreammaker Bath and Kitchen. And they helped him to implement the systems and processes that he has today. And Eric shared that once he had those systems in place, he got so much more clarity about his business. He understood and captured data that he had never even thought about before. They were able to track how they were doing in real time and visualize it. They could compare their estimates versus their actuals. They could do post-job analysis. Knowing his numbers helped him know how much he needed to charge. This is huge. Knowing your numbers is so important, but it requires great systems, which brings me to my second pillar. The best builders, they're not winging it anymore. They're not building on memory and hustle and heroics. They're building businesses that are run with discipline. Systems give you control. Control over your jobs, your budgets, your pricing, your job costs, your cash flow, schedules, everything. But before you can implement a system, you need to truly understand your processes. How do you operate? Where are your bottlenecks? I encourage everyone to be extremely process-oriented. Don't just throw bodies at problems. Take the time to understand the root issue. And when you know that, then you will be able to go out and find the right solutions that you can implement to solve that specific problem. The key, though, is to create the easiest, most repeatable systems and processes that you can. That's how you're going to become very efficient and operate like a well-oiled machine. When you leverage technology and software and all these different systems, like that will help you. That will bring massive efficiencies to your business. Companies do not rise to the level of their goals. They fall to the level of their systems. Wes Crockett with Mahogany Builders, he shared with me how they spent several years doing $3.5 million in sales, which is great. But when they started to scale beyond that, they started to grow. That's when things started to break down. They were taking on way more projects than they could handle. And the projects, the sizes of them were doubling. This resulted in their team getting stretched way too thin. This led to drop balls. This hurt their profit margins. And that's when Wes realized that he lacked the right systems to accommodate these larger jobs. And so he took a step back. This is when he found JobTread. He implemented JobTread to create these robust, repeatable, clear processes that could handle the much larger and more jobs. And in 2025, Wes grew his business 65% to $5 million in revenue for the first time ever. And their average job size doubled to around 200,000. It's incredible. Great job, Wes. Dave Bryan from Black Dog Builders, He started this company back in 1989, and he has always had a keen focus on what can they do smarter, how can they implement systems, how can they improve their processes. And he shared that over the years, the number one lesson that he learned to improve their efficiency and their profitability was to continually look for the fat in all of their systems, in their processes, in their business, and to cut it. You have to continually adapt, continually evaluate how you're performing. A few years ago, Dave realized that they needed to rethink their estimating process. They wanted to revamp the whole thing. They ended up hiring an estimator. They implemented JobTread. They now leverage the cost catalog, the budget templates, and they have drastically decreased the amount of time it takes for them to accurately price their jobs. And they have increased their close rate. In 2025, they grew their team to 68 people, and they did over $18 million in revenue. This clearly articulates the need for systems if you want to continue growing and scaling your business. The third pillar is trust, both internal and external. Trust isn't something that you ask for. It's something that you earn. You need to lead with integrity. Focus on educating your prospects. Help them understand the process. Show them their options. Give them detailed scopes of work. Provide clear and transparent pricing. Be responsive. Be easy to work with. Leverage the customer portal. Share with them the schedules, the daily logs, the photos. Give them that transparency that they desire. Make them feel part of the process. The goal is to provide them the best possible experience that you can, and that is how you will earn their trust. Why that matters? Well, turns out clients will pay more for predictability. They'll pay more for better communication. They'll pay more for the confidence that you will get the job done right. When you deliver that great customer experience, those are the customers that will continue to come back to you time and time again, and they will refer others. The same goes for your team and for your trade partners. You need to be a great leader who earns their trust. They want to follow you, but they have to trust you and know where you're going. You have to give them the information and the training and the tools that they need to be successful. I would also encourage you to be as transparent as you possibly can. Put your JobTread dashboards all over the walls at your office. We do that here at JobTread. Everybody knows how we're doing at all times. This will create so much alignment for you and your teams. They will understand and take ownership. They will work together to accomplish those goals. I know many of you struggle to delegate, but you need to trust your team. That's why you hired them. Allow them to take ownership. Coach them when need be, but give them the ability to fly. When trust becomes a standard in your business, things are going to get so much easier. From winning more jobs to building a great team, you have to have trust. Callie Sudbrook with Beachside Custom Homes is a great example of a small business who has positioned herself as an industry expert and a market leader. She has narrowed down her focus to what she is extremely passionate about and what they are great at, which is building high-end, custom, luxury gyms. She has very clearly identified her target customer. And she does a great job getting to know them and understanding who they are and what their needs are and where they're at in their fitness journey. That's how she earns their trust. She builds real relationships. She shows them that she cares. And this helps her to provide the highest quality, best possible gyms and equipment that she can build them within their budgets. And when you look at her website, you will see that she is very clear about who they are and their mission and their decades of experience. She showcases her work. She shares customer stories and the challenges that they had and how they worked with them to overcome those challenges. Callie positions herself as the client's trusted guide through what would be a very complex design-build process otherwise. This is how you earn your client's trust. Be there for them. John Lee with Deck South. He has built one of the leading design-build outdoor living firms in the country by focusing on quality, customer trust, and strong team culture. John and his team spend a significant amount of time educating their clients. They don't view the sales process as when they need to close. They view it as an opportunity to teach. And they have found that when clients are more informed, they're more confident moving forward. And when they do win those clients, they're very intentional about setting clear expectations about the scope, about the responsibilities, about the process. They never want to overpromise, but they do want to overcommunicate. They want to make sure there is never any surprises for their clients. John also puts a tremendous effort on his team and their culture. They view their team as their family, and they treat them with that same level of respect. And he has earned their trust with philosophies like everyone gets paid first before John does. That's how he truly puts their best interest and their well-being before his. I've also seen John mentor and role model numerous people in various industry associations. And that's how he continues to position himself as a trusted industry thought leader. Way to go, John. I share all of these stories with you so that you can see firsthand the impact that focusing on these three pillars can have on your business: clarity, systems, and trust. If you don't evolve and rise to this new standard, the market will move on without you. Your customers expect more. They're comparing you to the best products and services out there, to the Amazons, the Apples, the Teslas. You need to make sure that you're leveling up and giving your customers the experience they desire. This isn't JobTread telling the industry what to do. This is all of us saying we can do better. We are creating this standard together, and all of our success continues to validate it. We are assembling this incredible community of people who share the same desires and passions to be great. The new standard, it isn't built alone. It is built together, learning from each other, partnering with each other, supporting each other. This truly is community-driven innovation, and we are elevating the industry for everyone. There's never been a better time to be a contractor. But it's up to you to seize the day. Not someday, today, right now, right here at JobTread Connect. Every session you attend is a chance to raise your bar. Every conversation you have is an opportunity to improve the way you operate your business. I want to ask you, are you ready to level up? Are you ready to be the new standard? I can't hear you. Over the next few days, you will continue to hear real stories from builders just like you. You will learn practical systems that you can implement into your business. And you will walk away with strategies that can fundamentally change how you do business. Don't just attend this conference. Use it as a springboard to make 2026 your best year yet. My advice for you to make the most of this conference is to set clear goals. Know what you want to get out of this event. Know who you want to meet and what insights you hope to gain from them. Be intentional. Get out of your comfort zone and go meet people, go network. Know what you want to learn in JobTread. What features do you need to get better at? If you want to get into some of the more advanced stuff like dashboards and reporting, workflows, takeoffs, formulas, then go spend time in the automation lab. Go get hands-on with our team. We're here to help you. You also need to figure out and know what are the gaps in your business. Go seek out our partners in the marketplace and in the exhibit hall out there and get to know them. They can help you fill those gaps. You came here to learn. Our goal is for you to leave here ready to represent the new standard. Everyone in this room has the potential to lead that effort. Regardless of your role, your title, how long you've been at your company, it doesn't matter. You are learning from the absolute best in this industry. And you need to take that knowledge back with confidence and apply it to your business. Together, we are setting the new standard for construction. Welcome to JobTread Connect.